wasn't expecting much, but I honestly loved it. I thought it was funny. I loved the wardrobe. Was expecting a little more like crazy jokes, if you know what I mean, or things that are out of pocket, but there weren't that many in this one. Like, I was like, wow, for early 2000s film, that wasn't that bad. I thought it was great, and I loved her character. I loved Reese Witherspoon's character. Like, she was such a girl's girl, and she's perfect. Was it unrealistic? Yeah, of course. It's a like comedy from the 2000s, but was it funny? Yeah. Was it like, it was great. That's all I have to say. And later that night, technically, by the time we finished with Legally Blonde, it was already the next day. So at like the crack of dawn, I guess, not crack of dawn, at like 1 or 2 a.m., we saw Pitch Perfect. I'd never seen Pitch Perfect ever in my life. I remember when it came out when I was a child, because everybody was doing the fucking cup song, which was so fucking annoying. I didn't like it. Anywho, we watched it with my friend, and I have a lot of questions about this movie. Like, how was it really that big of a film? I like, after watching it, I want to know why everybody loved it so much, because I hated it. I definitely think it's one of the worst films I've seen so far, like, this year. There was just a lot of issues. I didn't like the music. I didn't like most of the characters. No redeeming qualities. All of them were annoying as shit. I didn't like any of the guy characters. I was just like, the romance felt so forced in my opinion. Weird fucked up jokes. Like, there was some anti-Semitism, and I was like, okay, that's not right. And some weird like homophobia, and I don't know. It was just weird and not good. So out of a 5, honestly, I think this rating is too nice, but I gave it a 1.5 stars. Would not recommend. Did not like. Boo. Next. Next, actually, is a rewatch. It's a rewatch. If you don't know me, I like to rewatch a lot of movies that I've already seen. I mean, yeah. But this one actually won an Oscar. This is the movie Flow, which I think like the people behind it are Lithuanian. Yeah. Oh, actually, was it Lithuania or Latvia? Okay. Actually, guys, I don't know. My bad. But this film is a animated film, and it won an Oscar. It won Best Animated Picture at the Oscars, and I really liked it. It's a very short film. It's like an hour, 20 minutes. There's no talking at all. The style of the film is interesting. It's done in Blender, and it follows the journey of a cat and a flood, or how this cat moves on with like a flood happening. And I absolutely loved it. You know, if anybody saw The Wild Robot, I wanted The Wild Robot to be what Flow was. And yeah, it was just really good, and I love it. I think I've rewatched it 3 times already. 1 time by myself, the 2nd time I saw it over Zoom with my boyfriend. The third time I saw it in the theater. But I highly recommend it. It won an Oscar for a reason. It's just great, and I think it's for anyone to watch. Okay, next, I'm just gonna explain this one because it's real short. And I saw this short film which was on YouTube. I think it was uploaded by The New Yorker. I'm not sure. Okay, just looking at it because I have my phone at the corner and I'm like so many trailers for it, or had gotten a couple of them for it. But I'm surprised not a lot of people have seen it. It is called Black Bag. Black Bag. And the director for this is Steven Soderbergh. Soderbergh. And it stars Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett, who are amazing actors. But this is a spy movie. I don't really watch spy movies for the most part, but this one was good. It was witty, like mature, sophisticated, sexy, sensual. And I like the plot, a dinner, a messy dinner and a hot couple. Man, I'm there. I'm gonna be there. And honestly, I gave it out of a 5, I gave it a 3.5. I might move it up to a 4. I don't know, maybe I might rewatch it just to see what I think about it again. But I highly recommend it. It's a great film, and, I think they should keep movies in theaters longer so everybody can see it. Or make movie tickets cheaper so people could actually go to the theater. I don't know. This one, the next one, it wasn't really my favorite. I thought it was mediocre, but I mean, I watched it. Novocaine, which stars Jack Quaid. If you don't know who Jack Quaid is, if you have watched The Boys, he is Huey. He is Huey from The Boys. Also, his mom is Meg Ryan, and his dad is Dennis Quaid. If you don't know who they are, look them up. I know who they are because they're all actors. They're actors. But I saw Novocaine, which stars Jack Quaid. He is the lead in this. And it takes place in San Diego. I'm not saying that's a weird place, but I feel like I haven't seen a movie where, like, things take place there. But it takes place in San Diego, and it's about a man who cannot feel pain. And basically, like, his coworker that he also has a crush on and, like, slept with the night before, on Christmas Day, there is a bank robbery, and she gets kidnapped, and he goes to try to save her. It was kind of funny. I will say it was funny. There's a lot of times it was funny whenever Jack Quaid was on the camera. He stole the light. I mean, he's the main character, but he was keeping me interested in the film. But I think the acting from almost everybody else in the film was mediocre. Like, it was not that good. And the last 30 minutes or 20 minutes of the film, I just wanted to leave. Like, I feel like things sad French film, and it makes me cry all the time. It's shot so beautifully, and it's colorful, and there's a lot of singing. There's a lot of singing in French. But yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I just love this film. It really just makes me emotional every time I see it. And honestly, ooh, this one's my favorite one. This is actually my favorite watch of all of March, and it is the 1997 film Starship Troopers. I watched this also with my boyfriend, and this film was directed by Paul Verhoeven. I might have butchered that so bad, but the director, he directed RoboCop. I'm just gonna put it out there because I recommend it. It is a satire. It is a satire, guys. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's a satire. But it's a satire about fascism. About fascism in the future. It's poking fun at fascist people. This film is literally directed like a space fascist propaganda film from the future. They're not even trying to hide it. But anyway, in this film, it takes place in a future where all of Earth is one federation. It's all one place. So the main characters are in Buenos Aires, Argentina, or what I guess what you could say is Argentina now, but they don't say Argentina in the movie, but it's Buenos Aires. They're in Buenos Aires, they're in South America. And it's about a boy who basically wants to join what is now the military in space, because his crush is she wants to do that. And in the film, there's a difference between being a civilian and a citizen. In order to gain citizenship, you need to serve the Federation, either become a troop, a pilot, or go in intelligence, but yeah, and he basically he becomes a troop for this girl who he doesn't even know if they're gonna be in the same place. It might be billions of miles away from each other. But yeah, sorry for that really loud sound coming out my mouth. Sorry. sorry. Anywho, yeah, but it's very funny. It's so fucking funny. This movie's very funny because it's a satire. It's poking fun at it's poking fun at right wingers, fascists, and you just see all this senseless violence. It's senseless violence. When I mean it, you're just seeing these people get mauled down by bugs and dying in the most horrific, funny. It's not even what's done in a funny way, in my opinion. And then you just it cuts to somebody being I served my nation, and you're no. The funny thing is, right after I watched it, I kept on getting tweets on Twitter from really dumb people who I guess didn't understand the film, and they're you see how in this film this guy kills the bug, you have to kill the bug, and I'm oh my god, you watch this and you totally missed the point. They're not even trying to hide it. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris is in the film, and they have him wearing a Gestapo fucking uniform. It literally looks like a Gestapo uniform. They're not trying to hide it to you. By having him wear that, and the jokes that are made, the weird, sexual stuff going on, they're trying to let you know this is they're not good people. If you watch this and you side with these characters, the point kind of flew over your head. But yeah, this is a fun film in my opinion. The best film I saw. I actually gave it a 4 out of a 5 just because I loved it. It was my favorite. Doesn't mean it's a 5 out of 5. Okay. Anywho, next up. Oh my god. I did not that I did not like this film, but I did not like how this film made me feel at the end. This is another French film I saw, and it is directed by Agnès Varda, who is a iconic director. She's a female director. She passed away a couple years ago, but this film came out in 1965. It's called Le Bonheur. it's a movie about cheating. There's no way to like describe it. There's cheating in this movie, and we're kind of just seeing how this impacts this perfect French family. One thing about this film, I love how beautifully it's shot. It just looks pretty at all time, but what you're watching on screen does not match that. You're seeing something very ugly. You're seeing the falling apart of a nuclear family. Or actually, I don't really care about the nuclear family, but you're just seeing this like family fall apart. And yeah, it's just sad. I just feel like I felt nauseous when I finished the film. I don't know why. I think it's just the nature of it, how ugly things got.